Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drink Up. I have my friend from way down under, Priscilla, here that I connected with on LinkedIn, believe it or not. And she talks a lot about the wine business and how the wine business needs to wake up. Or maybe I'm saying that, but for some reason, you're one of the first people that pops up in my feed when I get up in the morning. There you are. So I don't know how the algorithm's working, but somehow I connected with you. It's been wonderful. I read your information. I've been in the wine business for 38 years. I started with Gallo Winery, actually, in California. So I just, thank you for coming on to Drink Up and may tell me a little bit about who you are and what it is you do and why you're so passionate about why the wine business needs to change.
That's a very good question. I love that, Samuel. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to just talk to you. Like we have
Yeah.
been chatting online for a little while, and
Yeah.
it's always great to be able to be see face to face and actually be talking about those issues. I guess for me, it's because I was on the blind side for so long. I've been in the wine industry for 13 years, not as much as you, but I see lots of people in my age is not engaged with wine and don't want to drink wine. And it seems like very sad for me because, as I'm passionate about the wine industry. And the last job I had, I work in the bottle shop and then when I retail was a wine merchant for one of the biggest retailers in Australia, Dave Murphy's, was like 240 stores in Australia. And like my team, most of them, one of my struggle is just to get my team to taste the wine. And then they just said, I don't want to taste it, Priscilla. That's tasty terrible. I don't I like wine, and they all work in the wine business. It was so hard to do that stopper training because people don't engage with the wine industry, and it's that talk with consumers. That we have about 7,000 consumers per week. And then it seems like it for me was like, oh my God, what's going on? So,
Yeah.
what is going on? Like, no one interested, and no one is interested about the talk I was talking about, like, scores, points, James Holiday. People didn't know anything about those things at all. And it surprised me. I was telling wine can have been told it's terrible. Like I sell lots of 90 crimes. I sell lots of non-alcoholic wines. In my mind, before I work at the retailer, which
Yeah.
that was like all bad. You know, we don't
Yeah.
talk about the non-alcoholic wines. The non-alcoholic wines is bad. We don't talk about 90 crimes or anything like that because it's bad. But that's what the most sold. And it for me
Yeah.
was like so confusing. It's like, why? Why? And it started to be like my 2 years old girl daughter. It's like, why? And I asked myself, why? And why?
Yeah.
And why? And it became that confusing in my mind. I was so lost. It was like, all right, I need to rethink. And that's how I create the Rethink the Wine Industry newsletter. Because it
Yeah.
was just asking myself, why? Why we do this if the customer's doing that? Why we just see why we keeping and it was doing master classes because we want to teaching about wine to the customers, you want to educate customers. Having no one sign up. No one wanted to be part of these master classes I want to organize. And
Wow.
then, I was like, well, let's try something different. And I tried to doing events like a wine fest. And I had 250 people sign up.
Oh, wow.
It
Wow.
was like, well, that's worked better because Wine Fair was not like anyone teaching. You're just going there to drink, have fun.
Yeah. Why?
So,
So why? So it's experiences, right? I talk about it actually on your post, believe it or not, that when I started to think about like, well, people don't buy brands anymore. They buy experiences. They want to experience it, right? So maybe the generations you're talking about, because I thought about this as well, Gen Z, millennials, and my daughters, like they're 30 years old this year. That's how old I am. I'm an old man, but they don't drink wine. They
uh,
drink actually hemp-based products, THC products is where they've gone to because wine is just, they may have it at dinner to be fair, but it just seems very difficult,
yes,
hard,
yes,
a little bit of snobbery to it, and then it seems like the industry, and you talk about this, approaches it with education. Maybe I don't need to be educated about the the type of varietal, and what region it came from, and it's from Paris or it's from Australia. Maybe I just need to know that that wine tastes good, and I'm
Yes,
going to enjoy my friends and family.
yes,
So, is that what you talk
that's
about when you
effort.
think?
Yes, and it definitely that's how it worked. And I can tell you, like, because that why in my life, and I have the experience to be able to talk with consumers. I try to do many different things. So to see what is actually interested in. So we have an event about champagne, and I was actually hosting three different brands of champagne. And it was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do a test here. I'm gonna talk about each champagne differently and it see what is actually sticking in the mind, see what can actually see the face, and then see what's actually, the answer, like what the reaction is gonna be for the
Yeah.
customers. One, I talk everything about terroir, champagne, terroir, style, blah blah blah. The other one, I went to for winemaking process. How you make champagne. So, they make champagne that's having this bubble. So that's the champagne is different of this prosecco and blah blah blah. Teaching about that. And another one, I put a lot of emotion on the side of the story of the lady. He lost her husband, and then she lost the business, and then she was absolutely destroyed, and blah blah blah. But she got so like, but then she did this, she did that, cause like all the challenges on the way, and then she finally got money enough to pay the business back in, and she did that and she did that and it blah blah blah. You see the reaction, the face of the guys was like,
So the
"Oh."
engagement, you got engagement. People want to hear stories. It's funny you say that. So I work for a little company called Altamar Brands, and Altamar Brands has a fifth generation Brown that founded the company, right? So I tell his story, and I say, hey, Lyons Brown the third, his dad Lee Brown founded Woodford Reserve, and his grandfather actually did the deal with Lynn Motlow in 1951 and brought Jack Daniels and Brown Forman, and his great grandfather actually developed and created Old Forester. And Lyons left Brown Forman 20 years ago, and he created this business because he wanted to make three things: good distillate, promote distiller, and talk about the home place. They don't want to hear about the mash bill of the product. They want to know about line.
Yeah, and I agree, and then that's exactly what people like it to be somewhere like engage you, touch you, you know. And then that's the thing, like and then there's the other thing as well. On that same event, I have three friends went to actually the champagne tasting, and then my three friends is actually was someone else, and then they end, and they coming back to me to do the tasting, and I start to use the same stories.
Right.
And then when I get to my last story, it was actually storytelling approach. She said like, "Oh yeah, when you taste it in somewhere else here, the customer was talking about that story. Ah, that's very cool. I just already heard about this story." So when she's coming to me, she already heard the story because the other customer tasted with me before was telling the story to around their little tasting. So it's sticking their head in so much, and they actually was telling themselves about the same story. Was the story actually sticking in the whole tasting? Because we have like about 7 tables of champagne. And then the customers who come to my table went to another table to tell them the story I told them.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So you see, like it's power of storytelling.
So
They actually stick in their head. They want to talk
when
about
you're
it.
talking customers, you're talking consumers, right? Or are you talking customers that
Yeah.
sell? So consumers, because I think there is a big difference, and you might have talked about this. Is if I'm talking to like a Som at Capitol Grill, they're probably going to know the first two classes that you went through. Okay, where is it made? What's the soil? What is the vintage? What was the wine score? I think they want to know that. But my wife and her out to dinner, I don't really care. Is the Chardonnay really good? What does it taste like? Well, tell me about maybe like who's the producer? Tell me a story about it. And it doesn't have to be wine. It can be beer. It can be spirits. It can be wine. Is we're so caught up in the industry to talk about like in whiskeys, it drives me nuts. Well, it's a 5-year-old and it's 51% corn and it's 10% malt barley and 39% rye. It's a high rye. And by the way, it comes from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Do I really care as a consumer? Right. So what are you doing to, I guess you're an evangelist, obviously, for the industry. Have you gotten a lot of pushback, positivity, the combination of both?
Well, I think I got a lot of great feedback. I
Yeah.
guess at the beginning I was very scared,
Yeah.
I would say, because I was a fear like everyone has the same fears. The fears is in everyone. All of us it's a need to go overcoming the fears.
Yeah.
Because the first time I was feeling like I don't like it is its score, highest score points for this, for that, for that.
Yeah.
And I want to post it that. And I was like, I don't think I can post it because if I post, what are people going to think about me? What's going to be people's going to react to it? And then, it's all that fear to be able to talking some things that is not quite right. It's taking time. And I received some message of people like that as well. They say like, Prissy, I know what you're doing and I know it much needed, but I can't really be involved because, it's completely contrasting industry. And I'm just a fear to be judged. I just a fear to be able, I'm silently reading all your posts. I receive lots of messages like this. I silently read off all of your posts, but I don't comment. I don't put a like it. I just sit silently engage with you because I don't know. I wanted to have a job in that. Like, I still wanted, I don't know what people's going to think about me. And I think that the fear, I think that's the feedback I received the most. I think people just is scared to do something different because they don't know the rejection they're going to receive. The rejection fear is a fear like everyone had, and I had that as well. So I understand the pain. But yeah, I think until we change our mindset to embrace the innovation and it's like it's all right instead to judge people by doing this, by doing that, by not following the rules, we're gonna be on this transition where people have a lot of fears. I do have the most of the feedback I have is actually just silent people say like keep going, I'm watching you, keep going, keep going. I know what you do. It's gonna be beneficial for the wine industry. Keep going, keep it going. Like of course they have a very old people that don't want to change it for their reasons, for their old beliefs. We're gonna have that those people. It's gonna be there, but at least the people around me, it's more on the positive side. So that's making more motivated as
Well, you're
well.
going to have some
But
people that are going to question what you do. They're going to say, hey, I can't be part of this. I'm going to silence you. Then you're going to have supporters that like, okay, I support you. Then you're going to have the old people like, this is just the way it is. I get what you're doing, but it's never going to change. You talked about it
yes, I
actually.
have it that as well.
Yeah, you talked about it though. You posted a picture of a sangria party and I commented on that
That
sangria
was
party.
shocking, everyone. That was a very shocking for the wine industry. Disagree with
Yeah.
Petrus. Yes, I was.
Yeah. So what kind of reactions did you get on that one?
That was such a great post.
Yeah.
I did like it was very divided post because I had actually very good people say like, yes, I love the idea because I don't drink sangria because I wish they make it with bad wines, but with Petrus, it's probably delicious.
Yeah. Well,
Some people actually was like, yes, let's do it. Free, mate. Yeah, let's do it'll be more important he's drinking wine. It doesn't matter what he does. But we have these people who say like, oh, he's just spending the money and then just to show off with the money and then things like that. It's like if people show off in drinking Petrus with caviar, it's like the same. For me, it's the same feeling because if you pay that much in the wine and you're putting your social media, people are gonna judge you. You show off
yeah,
anyway.
I
So it doesn't matter if you drink Petrus with sangria or if you drink with caviar. The same feeling is you show you have money.
well, and the other thing is the experience, right? I guarantee you the people that did that party or that's memorable. It's like when I went to a party when I was working for Gallo we were district managers in Southern California, and we went out and we drank a lot of Gallo wine, but we got grappa. You know what grappa is, right? And it was some expensive grappa. I can't remember the name of it, but we were all drinking grappa and celebrating. And I think I woke up on the floor the next day. But you know what? That was like 38 years ago, and I still remember that it was yesterday. So I guarantee you talked about earlier when we were talking about the experience of it. So look, I mean, I think I responded to one of your posts. I talked about luxury versus, like mid-range or whatever. Maybe there's certain wines that, maybe Grange. I don't know if you really want to put Grange, in a sangria, but if someone wants to do it, well, who are we to question them on the experience of it? That's where I think it really comes down to is you should be supportive of how people want to consume your brand and their experiences.
Yes.
And why don't you come and say, what was your experience with my brand? How did you consume it? What would you like from me to actually communicate to you, or what can I provide you for my brand? Like, are we really not that open? I would think that brand marketers within the wine industry they want to hear from their consumer and what they want. Do they, or don't
Yeah.
they?
But if you like anyone here listening to this podcast, enjoy social media for just watching a little bit. Like I sometimes just see getting in Instagram and TikTok. It's just to see what people doing with wines. Most of the engaging posts is actually making fun of wine.
Yeah.
Like putting a glass, drink it, like all the time, like open on the wrong way. Yesterday I was looking that one actually putting like upside down and he opened the bottle on the bottle, on
Wow.
the bottles, and drink, and I have like millions of likes, millions of it, And then that's just the thing, because people don't want to on this path or wanting it to be drink like that, and because that is not what consumers of my generation want to.
Yeah.
They don't. They think that's boring.
Yeah.
They think that's boring. So, and then that's why they make so much fun with wine and the social media. If you see like how many videos you have available today in social media with the wine and making fun, it's incredible. And I think that's just gonna be the start for changing the behaviors of consumers, because I think consumers just don't want it to be on this narrow perspective of how the wine is, should be. They don't want it to be to just telling us by just watching the social media. They don't want it to be educated. They don't want it to be in the classroom. They want it to be fun. They wanted to enjoy. They wanted to just understand it, like what is gonna be good for their mood. I think they're interested more about their mood. They actually for the how the grape varieties of terroir, soil, climate, so the wine come from. Because when the people come to me and they Murphys, they then come to me and say like, I want to like a wine tasting plum, but also with a little bit of the hits of strawberries, but high tannins with like a medium plus acidity. No, they come to me is like, Prissy, I want to like a wine. I have like a barbecue with some of my friends. I have like a football game tonight. Can I just recommend a wine, $20? Anything like great enough to just watch a football. Uh, I have a Tinder tonight. I just wanted to impress her with some wine. Can you just recommend a wine that's just gonna impress her? Because first date, you know how it looks like. I was like, yeah, no, I know.
It's like
And that's what people call it to.
Sutter Home Sincero owns, right? Sutter Home is Build a Better Burger program. It's exactly that. I'm going to have a barbecue and make some hamburgers, and I'm going to have some good wine with it. Like, you're speaking to I'm having a party, I'm bringing people over. Now, obviously there's, special occasions. We all have, like, I have a couple bottles of Hewitt from my Diageo days that I lay down and I keep. And I'm like, I'm saving it for the moment. Right? Hey, when I have my first grandchild, let's pop up a bottle of Hewitt. It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to have this special package. But guess what I'm saying is first grandchild. It's Thanksgiving. Maybe the type of wine I buy is based on the occasion that I'm talking about. Right. So occasion-based marketing in terms of like promote the occasion. You want to open up Hewitt when it's your grandchild's, first birthday. You want to open up, Grange when you retire, have
Yes.
that special bottle, but it's about the occasion, about the experience.
Okay.
But I'm going to bring that
Yes.
luxury wine to it. I'm not going to say, well, this is a vintage 2005 and it came from the soil over here, and the type of cork, and this is a single vineyard wine. No, I mean, I'm proud.
And yes, exactly. You're very cool. You nailed on this. Yes, spot on.
So how do you work? So do you have like wine clients that you work with, like suppliers, and you help them reposition how they go to market? So what is it that exactly you do? I'm not supposed
That's
to
a
ask,
very good
I'm not supposed
question.
to ask that, I guess. I read an article today. You're never supposed to ask anybody what they do. But I did. So anyway, the cat's out of the bag.
I guess I think that's the most question I have been lately. So like people are like, I don't know what you do, Priscilla. You just confuse everyone.
Yeah, everybody's upset at you on the internet. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so you provide a service, obviously, right, to people in the industry. You're trying to get people to change their mindset. So you get people to engage with you. So you get this brand. I'm like, you know what, Priscilla, I saw your post. It resonates with me. My revenue has been cut in half this year, and I got to reposition my brand, or I'm not going to be around. Can you help me?
Yeah, I work with lots of globally scale now. Like I said to you, like I because we pretty much help each other. So we know each other, help each other. I help other people as well to get some business for them. They get some like when we talk it privately before these conversations. So that's is how community work. That's how collaborative
Yeah.
work, and that's really what the spirits I wanted to bring to the wine industry is actually to be more like if you not compete with each other, we can make a better job because I help you, you help me, it both grow.
Yeah.
But I think that so many people don't understand the business in that way. They understand the business. I do the same as you do, and then I see you as as a competition, and I don't want to talk to you. I wanted to making things better. I want to beat you all the time.
Yeah.
And then when these people doing that way, I let them do it because it's more important what I do, what I have, what my heart say to do.
Yeah.
And then that's for me, is it just to be nice with everyone, help everyone I can. Like if I can give you my hand, and then I don't chase money, I chasing I like actually people happiness, I watch people, and then just the great jobs I do. It's just the consequences coming money, but they're not chasing the money. That's just not what I do. And then I think that's in the most people try to do in the wine industry, and that's is why they go wrong because when you chase so much money, that is how you start to thinking you don't give value to customers. I think everything you need to do, you need to say to like how much value I can add in people's life, in the community, and the world, and anything like this. I'm more worried about how much value I can add in your life than how much money I can make it.
Right.
But unfortunately, the brain of most of people is like how much money I can make from you.
Yeah. If you're a giver,
You know,
you're a giver. And you know
Yeah,
what?
I just think we need to change the mindset that we are here in the world to give value, to help each other, to collaborate. It's not about chasing money. When you do things good, the destiny or the world give you double, triple. Don't chase money, chasing helping people, giving value to people. And that's my messages all the time. And then that is why I really think the wine industry, what they need to do is collaborate each other. Not be these like, oh, my wine is great and your wine is terrible. No, because that's what they do when they say, like, I hate it when you see this marketing strategy when people say, my wine is $20 is better than wine in like get the same scores or the same
Uh,
taste of wine is spending like $100.
yes.
And then
Yes.
that's making me like, what do you do with your competition?
Uh,
So you're telling like your competition is bad, so just so you can stand out? That is not unfair. It's not fair. This is not fair for the wine industry at all. We can't not keeping fighting on this way. We need it to be more collaborative space. And then that's what make me feel like, oh my God, we need to change this. We need to change this mindset.
yeah.
We can't be making ourselves good by make the other people bad.
I love that. I love that. Competing together for success. I did a post several months ago. My daughters were cross country athletes, and they ran Division I cross country for track cross country, but they were really good cross country. But I did a post of them running together. They're twins, and it's competing together for success. they weren't trying to beat each other the way. They were competing against themselves for their times, and they were rooting for each other. Maybe one got first place, one got second place, one got third place, whatever. But all these women are out there running cross country, and guess what? Every one of them are rooting for each other. And it just makes better for collaboration. We were saying is there's an opportunity for the wine industry. Certainly there's a battle for shelf space and position and for features and ads. I'm going to get on the menu. I get it. I mean, that's real. But there's a bigger problem that you've identified in the industry. And the problem is the consumers. And actually, I did a post because of you. I started talking about the consumer and what the consumer wants, like sustainability. Actually, did you know 70% of Gen Zs will actually spend more money for a brand that's sustainable? Now, a lot of people do talk about that, but they need to talk about that a little bit more, right? And maybe that their experience when they go out to the winery and stuff, they should talk about their sustainable practices. I'm just trying to be creative here in the conversation, but it needs to be more than just education. It should be more about, I'm a
Yeah.
brand. This is what I stand for. Here's my founder or my winemaker. This is what I stand for. This is my story, how I experience my wine. And I love that you started a conversation that's going to have to, I believe it's waking up the wine industry. I see the number of followers you have. You have excellent engagement on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you're on other social media apps, but you certainly, people are listening. What's been your most successful story, I guess, through this outreach? Anything that you can share, a story or something that really resonated with someone like, wow, this really made an impact on someone?
I guess the most impactful thing for me to do what I do, it is actually to have like my private messages. They are incredible. I love when people send me private message
Yeah.
because that's how they truly say things, how they feeling. And then I think the private messages received in they say like, Priscilla, I was thinking that way. I was pretty much very narrow. I was thinking I need to teaching people, and I was thinking like this and like that. And you just open my eyes, give me a different perspective. I am absolutely very grateful about what we have done and then how the process is coming along. And that's how I can see things very different than what I saw a few months ago. That's for me is the most valuable things I do from that's so keeping me motivated. That's why I wanted to spending time is to do stories, because that's what we do. We write stories, keep resonate with people to try to get to people understand a new perspective, like what we need to see that we may not talking about it. But I think that's for me, that's the most attachment. I almost cry when I read this message. It's like, oh my God, so that's good to give like a different perspective for people's life. I could create a critical thinking for someone else. And that for me, it is actually say like, okay, I'm gonna keep it doing this. I'm gonna keep it doing this because I want more people with critical thinking in the wine industry. Because I'm sure, like, I'm sure I don't know how many people thinking on that ahead, but we're gonna have like a with the AI come to our lives. It's gonna change your work. It's gonna change how we live. It's gonna change. Like it's gonna be lots of information there. And we needed to be able to be prepared to be more critical thinking, more emotional intelligence, learn about those things, to be able to not to be prepared for the future, to prepare for the other things that's coming, to be able to be better. And the jobs that we do today can maybe not be there anymore. We need to be doing things different. And then, we needed to start to get on that, because we're going to have like information war, because AI is going to create lots of stories and people talking a lot of things. And because we have information so valuable for everyone to listen, we needed to be able to ask yourself, this is true. Why? Let's go. Like, where they come from? That's it. There is something like this is actually what he guy said. These things, we needed to be able to get at this habit to verify the information before you just keeping talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the wine industry have done for so long. You're like, we never verified any information we actually teaching people. We just keeping doing. We never see like if you worked or not work. We just keeping doing like the same thing. And then that is going to be even worse if the tech and AI is coming to our lives and change everything. So we needed to be aware,
Yeah.
like if things is going to change. and then we're gonna change it much quicker than what we think. And I don't know, like my feeling, it's we more open to hear new things now, but they still have lots of people's behind in the wine industry, and I think that's the mission. And I can't do this on myself. I need you to collaborate with me. I have Nick, I have Robert Joseph, I have Courtney, I have everyone to try to help it, to give the voices and to help it to get the message. And that's why we created that collaborative group where everyone can talk and can give the message, and you can all together we can help more people to know to be prepared for the next stage in your life. So I really think that's the way we could do collaborate more, help you more, give you more value, and everyone is going to be absolutely happy again. And then that's what the society want to build. And more in the wine industry where we see people complain so much and so much negative messages there. I think we need to change it for the brighter, for look at how the future is going to be amazing, And like if you do things, smaller actions, and they're thinking different, I think that's just going to be the next step for us. And I do think we only be able to do that if we together on this mission. I don't think there is only one person to do it. I think they need to be many with the voice there to be able to help as many people as we can. And then I just be very grateful to meet you, to be honest, and then to be your voice there. I really love your videos. We have such a unique content. And then I really love it because when I'm much better on text, like writing,
Yeah.
you actually better on the videos.
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what we need. We need the different skills that, it's like we are football game. We have many people who need to play with each other to the different talents to be able to making, to be win on
No.
this next progress. We are a football game. So that's what we need to see. We are we are big, a large puzzle, and we are all different pieces with different skills, and that is how we should see the wine industry, not as a competition. We don't need to compete each other. We need to find strategies to not compete with each other. We just see Samuel that does these things, and I do these things. I have my clients because they want to like this. Samuel have his customers because he doing something different, and I think that's what we need to build in the wine industry. We need to stop to compete. We can just, help each other to grow together. I think that's my last post to you. So, and then that's pretty much it. It is something I really have a very big fault for like thinking about it
Yeah.
lately. And I think that's probably the way we should move. Like all the other brands as well is doing that. All the other business is doing that. And I don't see as much in the wine industry. I think that's the next step for us to do something. Is to put your voices together and to help each other. And to put your brains together, to think it together, give it different perspective and new solutions. Because I don't know. I don't know what else we can do,
Well,
but that's
no,
that's how
I
I think.
love it. I do a little tagline. It's more about ageism in America, but I think it's appropriate for wine. Together, invisible, no more. Because the wine industry with several generations is invisible. And the reason it's invisible is there isn't a collaboration. And you know what? We can all compete together in the wine industry. And I love your messaging. I know you're coming out to California to meet with my friend Courtney because we have a mutual friend. And actually, Courtney's going to come on Drink Up. I've been trying to get her on. She's going to talk about the brand pitch, by the way. She did a post on that, and I wanted her to come and talk about that. But you're going to come out to California. You're going to take this message on the road, and you're going to go up to wine country,
Yes.
go to Sonoma and Napa, and you're going to talk to these producers and give them this message. You have some meetings set up with these folks?
Oh my God, I haven't been in, I think I have about, I don't even know, like my agenda is keeping busy. We're going to have a group up together where you're going to be brains together and you're going to think outside of the bottle. So
There you
I'm
go.
gonna
Think outside the bottle. I love it. Yeah, that's great. I'm using that. Okay.
um,
You need to coin that, patent it, or trademark it. There you go.
so having people travel to California as well on this trip. So that's amazing from like other parts of Australia, no, US. So it's been a bit cool. We talk with some hospitality as well, people in the hospitality places. It's not only because the hospitality suffer as well with the wine sales going down.
Right.
So we needed to help you on not only wineries. Wineries, it's part of the business, but on wineries, distributors, hospitality is all involved on this. It's not just wineries, by the
Oh,
way.
that's great.
It's we needed to help the whole industry. It's the whole industry suffering. It's not just the wineries, because the wineries don't sell, because the distributor don't sell, because the restaurant don't sell, and it's just a big. It's a
That's wonderful. You're taking your message to the world. You're literally a globe trotter. So globe trotter. Sorry, my southern accent. But the point is you're going all over the globe, and you're taking this message to the road, and you're creating
yeah.
apostles. You know what? You're an evangelist, and sometimes when you begin, it's hard to make it rain. But you're making people believers. Look, I'm an apostle of yours. You made me believe. I follow you. Somehow you made it where your feed comes to me and you made me believe, yeah, there's a problem here. We need to do something. And I wish you the very best when you go out to California and you talk to Courtney and you talk to the Psalms and the hospitality industry and the distributors and the suppliers. Because you're right. It's not just the suppliers. It's everybody in the industry. When the Psalm comes to the table, and they're like doing the pour and everything else, is how you're communicating to the consumer. And maybe you have some consumers there. Kind of in closing, we're kind of wrapping up. What would you want to leave with everybody here at Drink Up to talk about, as you go out there and you evangelize this message, right? You're basically, you're telling this gospel, right? You're like, it's like you're singing from the hymnal. Like, what's the three things you want to leave with us?
I would say thinking like the way we can go ahead, help each other, not bat each other. I think that's something we need to be on the mind. Whatever I can do to collaborate with the others to be able to grow together, then instead to say like how I can compete, how I can bat someone, how I can make it someone looks bad for me to look right. I think that approach, if anyone can take it one approach, I want to moving away on the mindset and the one to see that approach. I think making things better to you look right is never gonna be a sustainable business. So it's never gonna be sustainable community. We're never gonna be sustainable on the way we think and grow together. The second thing as well, I think we needed to be where get this fear of rejection out, because that the fear of rejection is stopping us to create new products or think it different or make it different partnerships. So, all the rejection about it, if I do wine tasting different, what people's going to think about me in the industry. And then that the fear of rejection is stop us to move ahead. And the third thing is communication. We really needed to communicate with a wide, a big audience. We can't just talk with the 3% of the population. If we, or, the whether people wanted to be educated, we can't just afford to have a 30% in the US drink wine. We have 70%, more than half in not engaged with wine. So we needed to thinking like we need to do something different in the communication side. We needed to really try to change it. If that's not working, educate people. Okay, what's gonna be the next?
Yeah.
It's occasion, it's emotional. Yeah, let's try. Works, great. If don't work, okay, try something else. But we need to keep in trying. The things we've done is not helping
Right.
us to sell wine. So if it's not helping us to sell wine, so we need to change things. And then we're not gonna have answer till we try, and until we get different answers from that, and then keeping trying. But we need to keep in trying to get better and better and better and better. So, and we're not doing that. So the communication is something the whole industry, from winemakers, from sommeliers, from distributors, to know how they're doing that on the bottle shops, etc. Restaurants, it's all of them needed to be able to be better communicators. People in the internet, like all of us need to be better communicated, because we needed to change the talk. We cannot talk with the people already drink wine. We need to talk with people who not drink wine to be able to save us.
I,
We needed
I
to
love
make
it.
sure we talk with the other people. What is the people? If you why you drink beer, let's convert these people drink beer to convert wine. But these people not gonna be converted by you say like my soil, my climates, my terroir. No, what they interested.
Yeah.
Let's talk with those people. I think that's the thing. We need to stop to talk So people already drink wine, and that's with some of it then gonna be engaged with them. But let's get more people talking with people drink beer, people drink RTD, people drinking spirits. Let's get them to drink some wines with us because that's what we can make more people engage
I
with
love
us.
it. When I have a party, by the way, I have variety of products that are offered. I have wine, beer, spirits, THC products, water, non-alcoholics, mocktails, because I don't know who's coming to my house, but I want them to have a great experience and remember the occasion that I had. And I love those three things. If I got them right, collaborate's number one. Two is I would say it's innovate. Don't fear to be innovative. Is that what it would be? Is number two? And
Yeah,
then
the rejection,
yeah,
the fear of
fear
rejection.
rejection. And then three is communicate. And you said it, is talk to them. You're talking to ourselves. You said it. Let's stop talking to ourselves and let's start talking to the consumer and let's listen to what they want. I bet you that's the next post, or there's going to be a post in the future that you're going to talk about. I hope you do anyway. But that was,
I will.
I love it. You know, this is obviously we had a conversation before. I love it that you took the time with me to share with me, you know, this, what needs to happen with the industry. The wine industry does need to wake up. And thanks for having the courage to actually bring the message forward. You know, that's all you're doing is you're communicating with industry. Hey, communicate with me. You're going around the globe and you're having these conversations over and over again. And it just takes one person, by the way, to make an impact on our industry. So I very much appreciate you. I very much appreciate your time that you took today. Thank you so much. And thanks for letting me join you for breakfast. And I'll have dinner. And until next time, I hope to, you know, when you come out to California, let me know when you're coming. But again, I'm wishing you the best trip of the world. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Oh, we're talking again, so for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everything you do. I just want to say to you, thank you so much for taking your time and to before dinner to just have a little chat with me. And I really appreciate everything you do and the message you put in there in your LinkedIn as well. I wish you all the best as well. And hopefully we can actually drink wine together soonish
Oh, yes,
in
absolutely.
person. So, and have a little bit of fun.
100%.